что начал.
Василий, ты подключился? Да.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Goodbye.
Let's get started. So we are continuing with the reading. This is one of the most important skills also which we will be discussing is how the text is organized. And this question comes a lot as well in any comprehension passage you have now, you must have such question. We will know what does this mean. It's very simple, very easy. In other words, how the ideas in the paragraph and the passage you are reading is organized. Okay, let's know what does this mean. For example, you are reading a story, and this is in all stories actually. The events are very clear. This happened first, and then this, and then that. So this is one of the types of organization, of organizing the text. We will know what is it called. But let's first know what's text structure. So text structure, in other words, is how the text is organized. And what does it mean, text? Text can be anything, by the way. Text can be a poem, can be a song, can be a play, can be a short story, novel, an essay. Text means anything written, or even as a song also, it was a text before somebody sings it. So this is what we are discussing, how the text is organized. So let's see different types of organization. First of all, we have to know that all stories, which mean I'm talking about all stories, sometimes not all, it rarely happens, but most of the stories are organized chronologically. Chronologically, like this happened first and then next, and then he met a boy, and this boy, he went with him to the park, and when after the park, they played football. So as you can see, it's some kind of steps, and you know the order is going smoothly, and like this happened, and then that. Like when I ask you, for example, what did you do since morning? So I woke up, I wash my teeth, I have breakfast, then I read for a while, I watch TV, I go shopping with my parents. So as you can see what's happening step by step. This is most of the stories. But today actually we are not focusing with stories as much or fiction, as much we are focusing with non-fiction. And non-fiction again is like biographies, when you write about someone who is famous, autobiographies when you write about yourself, essays, articles, informational texts like your books you have it for school. So we are focusing with non-fiction. We already know that most of the stories or fiction, let's replace the word story with fiction, is through chronological order. The first event happened, and then this, and then that, and so on. Now let's discuss non-fiction. Non-fiction has different types of order of the text organization. And sometimes actually each paragraph is, not sometimes actually, most of the time, each paragraph has a specific text organization. But mainly we have 5 types. Let's learn the first one. So we already know the chronological one, like which is most of the time it's in fiction. Fiction like stories, plays, novels, poems, and so on. In order of time, this happened first, and then that, and so on. The origin of chronological, it's a Latin word, chrono like means time. So stories, most of our life, or actually our life also goes through a chronological order. So this is, for example, one of the stories. It was It was about a girl which moved to a new city. I'm not sure it was in a grade 8 or grade 9, this story. But we have a girl who just moved away with her parents to another city, but she doesn't like this city. Then this girl met another girl, and they had some adventures in this new city. Actually, it was a boy who moved away. Yes, sorry. So it was a boy who moved to another city, but he didn't like that city that much. So he met a girl, and then they fell in love. So as you can see, some order in time. This happened first, and then this, then that. This is the chronological order. Now let's go to nonfiction. And this is another example. Let's say, for example, also the way nonfiction can be especially history. If you are reading a history book or a history kind of science or invention or philosophy, chrono. So let's go to another type, which is called sequential order, which actually looks like the one before, but there is some slight difference. Okay, so the second type is sequential order or order of importance. For example, you watch a video, and also it's very close to the one which we discussed a few minutes ago, which is the chronological one. This one or the text goes in some kind of steps. For example, you are reading an article or an essay, how to do a pancake or how to tie your shoe. So put on your shoe and then make 2 loops, which is those things which before you tighten them, tie the loops together. So it goes, if the previous one was concerning time, this one is concerned with steps. First thing you have to do, and then this, and then that. Sequence. For example, I ask you how to do pancake. First, you have to go to the market. Then you have to bring some eggs and flour. Then you go to the kitchen. You turn on the, I don't know how to do it, but anyway, you know. I hope you know. So anyway, how to enjoy maybe a peanut butter sandwich. Get bread, open jars, spread the peanut butter, spread jelly on it as well. Combine the 2 slices. So as you can see, steps, sequence, steps, okay? So this is the second type. So far we have the chronological, which is time, sequential, which is steps. Cause and effect. So we are, because, remember cause and effect, because he reads a lot, he gets good grades in reading. Because he does sports daily, he is an athlete. or in a good shape at least. So, so mainly it's discussing reasons or why something happens, or explain the effects of something, not just reasons. So the keywords here, reasons and effects. For example, why the dog ran away from your house. Maybe you're not feeding it well, maybe not petting it, not loving it. So that's why. So we have three reasons. Reason number one, reason number two, reason number three. Why? Because. So can you see the link here? So we have something here, or we have some claim. And why is this happen? Because we have 1, 2, and 3, cause and effect. Let's have check another example. And by the way, can you see this text is not telling you the story of a dog. It's not going chronological.
Mr. Dia, the screen is black.
Is what?
I cannot see.
Is it just Talal? What about the rest, guys? Can you see the screen? Because I already sharing the screen.
The screen.
Okay, maybe the internet will be better soon. Okay, so as you can see here, this text here is not discussing the story of a dog. Okay, it's not going through a chronological order. Maybe someone, why my dog left? He's writing an article, why my dog left? So my dog left because in this and that and this. Let's check another example. In the 60s, there were a lot of karate movies. So what is the effect of this? So we said the cause and effect has to do like two things. The first thing, reasons, or it has to do also with effects. Effects like what happened when you, for example, do sports every day. So the effect of this, that you will be a sportive person, you will be in a good shape, you will be healthy, you will be attractive. So the same case here. So because of a lot of movies about karate in the 60s, so what happened? A lot of karate schools opened. A lot of people decided, let's do this sport. It looks interesting. Another effect that nunchucks, he is a very famous karate star or movie star. Sales increased 400%. But unfortunately, hospital cases went up. People started fighting together in the street. Okay, so let's go. So far we discussed the cause and effect, chronological order, and sequential order. Problem and solution, it's very close actually to the one before. We have a problem and we are giving a solution for it, or the writer is giving a solution for it. For example, you are missing books. So so you decided you don't know where you put your books. Every time you ask your mom, where is my book? And she doesn't know, you don't know, you waste time. So you found solution that you put it in your closet. But when you put it in your closet, also you forget to take it to school. So you decided to get a locker in school. So we have a problem here. You found the solution, but still there is a problem that you forget it home, so you found the solution. So problem, solution. Solution. And this one became a problem in itself, so you found a solution for it. So eagles were endangered in some region, like they might get extinct. So the government decided to make some laws to protect them. Okay. So the difference between maybe cause and effect and problem solution, that basically the cause and effect has some opinion in it. The last one, and it's very easy to identify actually, that the writer is giving you some similarities and differences between two things. You will find two things, maybe an article discussing cats and dogs. So he's comparing them, both of them are pets, both of them, people love them so much and owe them the most. The difference is that cats are more clean than dogs are more loyal, and so on. So compare means to find similarities. Contrast means to find differences. For example, we are comparing between apples and oranges. So both of them, of course, they are fruits, they have seeds, they are healthy, but they are different how in color. Oranges are orange. They taste different, of course, and the location where we can buy them or where they grow is it's different from one place to another. So just to sum up, so we are discussing nonfiction again. We said the most of the stories or novel or fiction, it's chronological order by timing. The nonfiction, we have 4 or maybe 5, let's say 5 more types. The first one, just description, just telling you what's going on without order. For example, a text, first it's discussing the good qualities about dogs, the bad qualities about dogs. Then a paper or a research paper that dogs, if you own a dog, your health will be better. So there is no some kind of order here or some comparing or contrasting, just describing the elements of one topic. Okay. The second one is sequential. This happened first, and then this, and then that. It's very close to the chronological order, but don't get confused. This one has to do with steps. Compare and contrast. You are mentioning the similarities and differences between two things. Cause and effect. Because of this happened, that happened. Or as you do a lot of sports, you will feel this and this and that. So cause and effect, because of this happened. Remember, it was why. Problem and solution, you have a problem, the writer is discussing a problem. For example, why students don't read a lot, and he's giving us solutions for this. And also this one can do with why, by the way. But the difference between this, let's, for example, know the difference between cause and effect and problem and solution. In cause and effect, let's say why or why students don't read, because they are more interested in games, they are more interested in social media. So he's giving us why, reasons, and can give us also because they don't read, actually they have poor grades, they are not educated enough, and they don't go good in their careers later on. Okay, but another article can just mention the solutions for this. We know already that students don't read a lot, so the solution for this, to encourage them more, to make books more interesting with some illustrations, to go through some motivational like championships or like competitions between students to see who will read more, and so on. So now let's go to IXL and practice for a while about this topic. So you know the answer, or you don't know, try anyway, no problem. We will read the text together and you will tell me which type of order. I'm going to remind you, sequential order means by steps. steps, problem and solution. The writer is discussing a problem and then gave a solution at the end. Okay, so let's read together and see who will get the first one correct. Is it sequential, the order or the organization of the text here is sequential or problem and solution? In the 1970s, architect Kay took the difficult assignment of renovating and updating the beautiful Louvre Palace in Paris without overpowering the original building. The art museum in the centuries-old Louvre displayed Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa and other famous, but the building's layout was so confusing. The structure of the place itself was so confusing for tourists, and they cannot find the entrances for the places or the piece of arts they want to see. It also needed more restrooms. So this is the old famous museum, Louvre. And it also needed more restrooms and bigger cafeteria. Pei, the architect, designed a large central underground entrance and visitor. This was his. He then added a glass pyramid. Although Pei's design faced initial criticism, today the pyramid is considered a brilliant success, a landmark that complements the old palace without interfering with it. So I see the answer is very clear. Some of you already answered, but I haven't. Still, we have Wasim, Nadia, Karim, Edzio, Ahmed, and Ahmed. So what kind of order is he discussing? Amazing, good job. Most of you got it right. It's steps or problem solution. As you can see here, we had a problem that we have a guy who decided that Louvre doesn't look good. And there is a problem with the Louvre because people get confused, cannot find the entrances. It needs more restrooms. So he found a solution by building a large central underground. He also added some glass pyramid. So there was a problem here. Louvre is bad. Someone called this guy, architect, decided to find a solution. So excellent guys who got the answer. Well done. Let's try again. Sorry. Okay, let me close it and reopen. By the way, after we finish, we'll just answer 2 or 3, and then we will leave you to answer a comprehension passage. And then we discuss it after the break. Okay, here we go. Cause and effect. Because of this happened. We have something. Because of this thing, that happened. Compare and contrast. Like imagine the writer is just drawing table or Venn diagram, whatever it's called, and he's comparing between two things. Okay, so let's read. People with asthma may experience difficulty breathing due to inflammation or swelling of the inner surfaces of the airways. The inflammation makes this usually what is between brackets. Don't make it confuse you. Just explain what was before. The inflammation makes the passageway sensitive to further irritation. Exposure to substance in the air, such as pollen or smoke, may then trigger the asthma attack, an asthma attack. During an attack, the muscles around the airways contract, narrowing the space through which oxygen passes. This can prevent oxygen from entering or exiting the lungs properly. Possible symptoms during the attack include shortness of breath, coughing, wheezing, and difficulty breathing. Do you think here we are comparing between two things, or we are discussing something, and because of this thing, something else happens, or the effects of something we have? I think the answer is very clear, and the lesson is extremely easy. Do you hear me, guys? Because I heard someone said you cannot hear me, or something like this. Yes, it's a correct answer. It's cause and effect. Because of this asthma, you have this and this and this and this. So excellent. It's number A. Well done, guys. As you can see, very easy. Most of you got it correct. Let's do two more and then we stop. Compare and contrast. Remember the Venn diagram. Comparing between two things. Sequential. Remember S steps. The United States Environmental Protection Agency, an agency for protecting the environment. Yes, Ahmed, you are raising your hands.
Mister, I cannot hear something.
You cannot what?
From few minutes, I wasn't hearing something, so I raised my.
Okay, repeat again because I was not able to
We
hear
can't
well.
hear you from the beginning. We couldn't hear you from a while ago. We couldn't hear it.
Okay. Okay, I'm just highlighting the text. You can read by yourself. I'm just reading the text out loud. So again, we have this agency regulates air pollution. Regulates like try to control the air pollution, including particulate matter, the tiny particles floating in the air. There are two categories of regulated particle pollution. Particles less than 10 micrometers, but more than 2.5 meters in diameter, are inhalable coarse particles. Whereas particles smaller than 2.5 micrometers are designated fine particles. So we have fine particles versus the inhalable coarse particles. Both types of regulated particles can travel into people's airways and affect the heart and lungs with potentially serious health impacts. Inhalable coarse particles are found near roadways and dusty industrial buildings. Fine particles, the smaller ones, are found in smoke, as well in the byproducts of some industrial processes. These particles, I see the answer is very clear. Actually, I knew the answer from the second sentence. These particles are the main cause of the reduced visibility, why we cannot see sometimes, especially maybe if you went to Cairo, sometimes it's very polluted, cannot even see, or haze in part of the United States. So let me check your answers, and I think you got it all right, but I'm still waiting for Ahmed, Ahmed, Iwan, Idzio, Talal. Where are your answers? Again, sequential, we're discussing steps. So I didn't get answer, just got the answer from two people, Najar, Nardeen, and Talal. What about the rest? Yes, it's A, is comparing between two things. We have this 10 micrometers particles and the 2.5 micrometers particles, which are called the fine and inhalable, and where we can find them, what do they cause? So we have two things, and there is some kind of comparison between them. Okay, the last one we will do. There are several ways to start a fire without matches or a lighter. One method, I found the answer already without continuing. One method utilizes a wooden board and a 2-foot long stick. First, cut a V-shaped notch on the edge of the board so that the wider part of the V is on the outside edge. Then beside the narrow point of the V, make a small dent or hole with a sharp rock. Next, place the board on the ground and the end of the stick in the indentation, holding the stick between the palms of your eyes. Finally, roll. Oh, no. So what I thought correct at the beginning, it looks like no, it's not correct. So finally, roll the stick quickly between your palms while pressing it down. Do this until the friction heats the wood enough so that an amber glows at the end of the stick. This amber can now light a fire. Comparing between two things, or just some steps of doing something? I think the answer is very clear. Wasim, Ahmed, you haven't answered anything. It's time to tell your parents for what you've been doing the last period. For your mother. So it's Nadia. Also, you didn't answer anything today. What do you think, guys? It's you.
Mister, I need to.
Mr. Jam, keep answering, but you're not looking at my messages.
الشاشة مش ظاهرة ازاي؟ المفروض تبقى ظاهرة. لو مش ظاهرة اقفلي وخش تاني. Okay, yes, I don't see any messages from you. فين it's
لا تطلع.
Okay, so as you can see, it's some kind of steps how to do fire using one way. One of the methods of how to do fire without lighter or something. So it's sick when shall. So good job. So now what will we do together now? Just 1 second. So you will have a comprehension passage now. Now it's 10:40. You have a comprehension passage called Coco or Coco. You will read it, and of course, try to highlight while reading and do what I usually do, and maybe write small notes beside just to remember. Some small notes, highlight or underline, whatever. Okay, maybe read the first part and then go answer the questions. You have 10 questions. This is what will we do next session. So what you will do now, you have this comprehension passage, which you will find on the Telegram group. Read and then answer, and then we will meet in 35 minutes. Okay, guys? Anyone is not in the group? Let me check. I believe all of you are on this group. So we will meet again in 30 minutes or 35 minutes. You answer the 10 questions, and you'll find some question about organization. This one. Number 2, you'll find about the author's purpose, which we discussed first. And then some usual comprehension, the main idea, of course, which is a question all the time repeated. So just quickly read the questions, or maybe the first 5 questions, and then go start reading, just to have a quick overview or to know what is going on in this passage. So see you in 30 minutes. Okay, bye-bye. I'll leave you now to
Bye,
go answer.
Master.
Bye.
Bye.